Out here, under the blistering sun of the Strait of Hormuz, a sound cuts through the air. And no, it's not a collision. It's the first step in a chain of events so carefully anticipated, they would be met with a response of absolute, calculated finality. What we're about to break down here, it wasn't a battle in the way you might think. It was a demonstration, a powerful and deliberate response designed to send a message that could not be misunderstood. And that quote, spoken in the quiet of a warship's command center, really sets the stage for everything that follows. See, the strategy here wasn't about a reactive defense. It was a conscious, calculated decision to let an adversary walk right into a trap, to let them reveal their full hand. The retaliation that came next, well, that was meant to be a lesson, one that would be etched into military history. To really understand how this all played out, we need to wind the clock back 96 hours. Inside a hidden, underground base, a group of commanders were hatching a plan built on what would turn out to be a fatal miscalculation, a complete and utter misunderstanding of the opponent they were about to challenge. So here was their game plan, and you have to admit, it was audacious. They were going to board a U.S. super destroyer, take out the crew, and literally tow it home as a trophy. All of their training, which they did on wooden mock-ups, was based on one core belief, that American sailors were soft, unprepared for a real, up-close fight. And that single assumption, that was their catastrophic mistake. I mean, just look at the mismatch here. On one side, you've got some worn-out boats, standard-issue rifles, and a plan based on hoping no one notices them. And on the other, a global network of satellites, eyes in the sky with reconnaissance drones, the planet's most advanced combat system, and a little surprise waiting below deck. You know, it was like bringing a knife to a gunfight if the knife was plastic and the gun was a fire-breathing dragon. Their own arrogance made them blind. Every single move they made, from loading their weapons into those boats to leaving their hidden sea caves, it was all being watched, every detail logged and analyzed. The door to the trap was wide open, and they were sailing right into it, completely unaware. Okay, so let's talk about the bait itself, the super destroyer USS Vanguard. You have to understand, this isn't just a ship, it's a moving fortress, a perfect blend of hardened steel and an electronic brain that can run billions of calculations every single second. And the heart of that fortress is the Aegis Baseline 10 combat system. So while the commandos were squinting through binoculars, the Vanguard's computers had already identified and locked onto every single one of their boats before they'd even left the shore. Their surprise attack was over before it even had a chance to begin. And just in case any threat did manage to get close, the ship has an automated last line of defense. It's called the Phalanx CIWS, though the sailors have a better name for it, the R2-D2 of death. It's basically designed to shred anything coming at it with an unbelievable torrent of lead. It's an unbreachable final wall. But here's the thing. The most lethal weapon on that vessel wasn't a missile. It wasn't radar. It was the 80 operators from the Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command, MARSOC, a team of professional hunters completely hidden from sight, just waiting for the enemy to step into their world. So the trap was set. The bait was taken. And what happened next wasn't some chaotic firefight. No, it was a clinical, systematic procedure, a meticulously executed counterattack that lasted exactly 28 minutes. At 11:30 a.m., it starts. The first grappling hooks hit the hull. 100 commandos, shouting their battle cries, swarm onto the deck. They genuinely believe they are just moments away from a victory that will make them legends. That belief would last for exactly 15 seconds. The ship's captain gives the order, activate lockdown protocol 99. Instantly, with these bone-shaking thuds, tons of fireproof steel doors and armored hatches slam shut, sealing off every single way into the ship. The deck is no longer part of a ship. It's just an open-air steel box, an inescapable kill zone. Then, at 11:31, 1 minute after the lockdown, the 80 MARSOC Marines emerge from hidden positions and just open fire. The engagement wasn't a contest. It was a completely one-sided affair. In the first 10 minutes alone, 40 hostiles are down. By 11:58, it's over. The deck is secure. All 100 invaders have been neutralized. But just securing the deck was never the final objective. That was only phase one. See, in American military doctrine, a true defense means you pull the weeds out by the roots. You make absolutely sure they can't grow back. And right on cue, from the nearby USS Overlord, what can only be described as a symphony of destruction takes to the sky. We're talking 12 F-35B stealth fighters and 8 Apache attack helicopters, all rising up with one single target in mind, the enemy's support fleet, waiting anxiously down below. The advanced systems on the F-35s acquire and lock onto all 35 of those enemy boats in less than 10 seconds. Then the order comes down, weapons free. Hellfire missiles and guided bombs rain down, and just like that, the enemy's entire naval presence in the area. Their only way home is vaporized. At the exact same time, the Vanguard unleashes its own fury. 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles lift off, already programmed to seek out the very source of the attack. Their targets? The fortified sea caves, the underground base, and the command center where this whole doomed plan was given the green light. These places weren't just damaged, they were effectively erased from the map. So, let's look at the final numbers when all the smoke clears. For the Sentinel Corps, 100 infiltrators, all eliminated. 35 boats, all destroyed. 2 military bases, completely eradicated. And on the American side, 0 casualties, 0 damage to the ship. This wasn't a fight. It was simply the application of overwhelming force. 100 men climbed aboard that warship, filled with visions of glory. 100 men stayed. The survival rate for those who trespass on the mobile sovereign territory of the United States was, and as we saw here, remains at 0%. In the end, this whole event served as a brutal lesson in the doctrine of deterrence. The USS Vanguard just continues on its mission, a clear sign that this wasn't some unexpected disruption, but a planned response. The real message was one of total negation, not just defeating an enemy, but completely nullifying their effort. And it leaves the rest of the world with one very simple question.